Welcome, Army sports fans from sea to shining sea. This is Bill Crawdad Crawford, and the mere sound of my voice lets you know we are back for Army Black Knight football.
And your voice is many things, but mere is not one of them.
Mere is not one of them, but I just want to let everybody know a little milestone actually happening today is this is our second decade of Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. Hooray!
Hey!
And I'd like to introduce the usual cast of characters who are here with us. We have Colonel Tom Economy.
10 years, Bill. 10 years I've been putting up with you. It's been a long 10 years.
Well, that's okay. And Steve Cripey, the human Ouija board.
Yes, indeed. Yes, back again.
Well, I hope you guys can hear me because I can't hear myself. I assume I'm coming through, right, Chet?
Yeah.
Okay, well, then that's good. Well, hey, one thing we want to do is I think we're on Facebook Live right now. We've never done that before. So if you're joining us for Facebook.
That's a far cry from the first time we did one.
It was Dixie Cup and strings, wasn't it?
No, it was, It's, we have progressed.
We have progressed very much from the first days of our show, but one other thing I'd like to mention before we get going on this great season that Army's about to embark on is we have a new sponsor to our show I'd like to mention, and that's a good friend I've met recently named Brian Hammaker with North Alabama Mortgage, and you'll hear some commercials about North Alabama Mortgage, but what I want to mention about that is Brian Hammaker is a good man. He is the salt of the earth. His mortgage company can do anything you need a mortgage company to do, but if you're a veteran, Brian specializes in VA loans, and he's a good person to go see. If you're anywhere in North Alabama, Tennessee, even in Florida, NorthAlabamaMortgage.com is the place to go. So let's get into talking about Army football. Pretty good year last year, 9-3 during the land of COVID, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed. And I didn't even think we were going to have a season last year, but we did, and it came out just well. And now we're on the verge of kicking off again. And what do you guys think? What's going to happen this year?
Yeah, I mean, just a final comment. Yeah, we were fortunate to have the season we did. And, again, even though Bob Beretta's not with the academy anymore, he's moved on to bigger and better things as an athletic director elsewhere. But, man, he knocked it out of the park, and Mike Buddy, the athletic director, those guys were a dynamic duo on making that happen.
Yeah, I think when you go back and you look at the schedule we had last summer and the schedule we ended up executing, it's there was like 30% commonality between that. They did a great job.
Yeah, and what happened between point A and point B was just remarkable.
Those guys did a spectacular job and ended up in a bowl game for us. So
and they did end up in a bowl game, quite frankly, I thought we should have won, but we didn't.
Yeah, that was
okay.
a little disappointing, and we had some key folks out that tested positive at the last minute. John Radigan was one of them, and it's easy to what if. Boy, if those guys had been in there, how would the outcome have been different? But that's the hand that was dealt, and I thought they did the academy proud, even in the loss.
Well, we did end up 9-3. It was a great year. A couple of guys off that team are now trying to make it in the pros. But a little bit about our show tonight. Tonight we have two great guests. Our first guest is going to be coming on at about 15 minutes after the hour, whether you are in Eastern or Central time. It's still 15 minutes after the hour, and that will be Deputy Athletic Director Dan McCarthy. At 7:30, we have a famous Army blogger on who we've had on before, and many of you may read his blog, and that is Johnny Brooks, and he's got a lot of insight into details about Army football that you just really can't pick up unless you have a person like Johnny Brooks.
Well, if we're the longest running show on ESPN, then I think that, or ESPN, WZZN, then I think Johnny's the longest running blogger we've had.
I think you may be right.
Yeah.
And
so it's appropriate that we would have him tonight.
That is true. Hey, just we got. I'm looking at people who are watching us, and Frederica Daniels. I met her at the Tulane game last year, and she immediately became one of my top 5 favorite people She is an energizer.
You actually have fans?
No, she's one of my favorites. I'm one of her fans, and she's just remarkable. Marquell Broughton, her son, is just not only an incredible football player, but just he's a remarkable ambassador for the academy and the football program, and we're going to be looking for big things in the upcoming season from him.
Well, now, Steve, while you're over there basking in your glory, I would like to publicly give you compliments on what you've done to expand our Facebook audience. I think we have, almost 2,500 friends on our Facebook page.
Yep, closing in on that real quick.
And if you're out there and you say, hey, I've got something to do with Army and I know a lot of people, get them on. The more the merrier. We're going to be Facebook Live at every show this year, I think.
Yeah.
I guess that means I'll have to start combing my hair a
That's
little
right.
better.
Combing the hair and
putting some vanilla extract behind my ears.
It ain't going to help.
It ain't going to help. Well, always count on Colonel Tom for a good zinger on me. And if you haven't listened to this show before, the zingers fly, and usually they fly my way. But that's okay.
There's just something about Bill.
That's what
just
you get for having the namesake for the show. Right?
Well, hey, one more thing I just wanted to mention. Again, you'll hear their spots on our show, but Nick's Restaurante, again, is a sponsor this year. If you're in Hunts Vegas, Alabama, there is no better place to eat, no finer dining, no friendlier staff, and no better new owner than Tom Chapman. Nick is still the founder. Tom, the chef, took over the restaurant, 10300 Bailey Cove.
Yeah,
go down there.
And Nick still occasionally holds court down there.
He held court down there with me last night. But if you're in Huntsville, drop by and see Nick's Restaurante. And if you need a mortgage, especially a VA loan, go to NorthAlabamaMortgage.com. And guys, we got a little bit of time before our break. Let's kind of ease into the season just a little bit. And God, there's so much to talk about. If you look at some of the publications, we've had many of our players who have been on preseason watch lists. People are saying this Nick Saban's 8th year is going to be his best year.
Well, who cares about Nick Saban? I don't think
Saban,
he has anything.
really?
Boy,
I don't think he has
Freudian.
Oh my goodness, Bill.
Coach Monken, I am so sorry.
Yeah, let me just on your first item there. So
Right, thanks for bailing me out of that, guys.
I'm here, your brother. So Nolan Cockrell, man, he's on a couple watch lists, the Outland and the Nagurski Trophy, and many are already predicting that he will be playing on Sundays. And I think we'll have NFL scouts at our games looking primarily at him. Zach Harding, man, he should have been a Ray Guy finalist last year, and he's on the watch list going into the season. Tyrell Robinson is on the Paul Horning Award list. Jabari Laws on the Warfel Trophy list, and then the Ronnie Lott Impact Trophy, Rick Smith. So yeah, it's. I don't know that we've had that many on preseason watch lists.
We ever had, and Zach Harding being on that list, he's our punter. Oh, big deal. Hey, he had a heck of a role in our defeat over Navy last year. He pinned him.
He's been a constant all season with the number of punts he had inside the 20, number of 50-yard punts. He's been spectacular.
Yeah, he averaged almost 43 yards a kick, net punting. And he had almost 20.
17 inside the
17
20,
inside the 20.
And 12 over 50 yards.
Yeah.
Well, hey, it's a good thing to have a good punter. They mean a lot in a game that Army plays when you got.
Hopefully he doesn't get utilized much, but given the number of times we go for it on fourth down, but when we have to kick it, he's a great guy to have.
And you mentioned Nolan Cockrell being on the watch list for the Outland Trophy. Did you know, little known fact, the second winner of the Outland Trophy in 1947 was Joe Steffi with
Army. Yeah.
How about that?
That's sweet.
All right, well, folks, we're going to get into a lot of that here in a bit, but we're going to go ahead and take our first break right now. Chad and Smokey Mike, I think we've got Colonel McCarthy hanging on the line, so we'll be back here in a couple of minutes, and y'all stick around with us. And, hey, there's my Facebook wave. We'll take us out of here, and let's get into our first break.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Maybe the air doesn't blow like it should, or it's needing new tires, or you're just ready for something newer. It's time to move up, time to trade up. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and it's the perfect time to trade in and trade up because your current car or truck is worth more than you know. In fact, we'll buy your vehicle even if you don't trade. We have nearly 100 Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned models to choose from. Our Ford Gold certified or low mileage gently used vehicles with great warranties. They've passed a 172-point inspection by certified technicians, come with a 24-hour roadside assistance, plus a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. It's the perfect time to trade in and trade up because your vehicle is worth more right now at Woody Anderson Ford. Corner of Jordan Lane and Sparkman Drive. Hope to see you soon.
Don't you wish that you had some secrets to help you get an edge on your business competition? Wouldn't it be great if someone could solve challenges at your company that you don't have the time or expertise to fix on your own? You know, there is a solution. Higher Echelon is a world-class consulting firm based in Huntsville that trains employees in sports psychology secrets to drastically improve work performance. Founder Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets and has put that experience to good use. Higher Echelon helps organizations shave hundreds of hours off work time by improving processes, and Higher Echelon helps organizations save and make more money by walking them through technology updates and implementations. You don't have to go it alone, and you don't have to stay stuck. Higher Echelon is a trusted partner in organizational excellence. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com today to take your company to the next level. Go higher and go Army.
Chad, cue the cheesy Italian music. So you're in charge of the dinner spot, and the family is a hard group to please. Dad wants award-winning 21-day age certified Angus beef. Mom craves authentic Italian food like great-grandma. Sissy pretty much won't eat anything but fresh seafood. And old life of the party, Uncle Walter, likes to enjoy a cigar after dinner with some live local entertainment and some killer cocktails. So you think you're in a pickle? Well, you're not. Relax. I'm Tom Chapman, chef at Nick's Ristorante at 10300 Bailey Cove Road, just south of Weatherly. We have all that and more. Our friendly and helpful staff is eager to help you Tuesday through Saturday, starting at 5. So, corral that crazy crew of yours and give us a call at 256-489-8280 or tell them to check us out at nicksristorante.com. I promise you, the gang will all think you're a culinary cruise director of awesomeness if you take them all to Nick's. See you soon. Ciao. Okay, Chad, kill that music.
Nick's is for patrons 19 or older.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Bill Crawdad with Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff in the palatial confines of WZZN ESPN here in Hunts Vegas, Alabama. You may notice on Facebook Live I had to change headphones. My Lucky Pink headphones from 10 years ago were not working anymore, so I got my Lucky Pink pen. But
Nice.
We've got our first guest standing by, and that's Deputy Athletic Director Dan McCarthy, West Point class of 1990, former Sprint football player, former systems engineer, professor, former OR of the Sprint football team when my son played there. And Dan, how are you doing tonight? I could say a whole lot more, but man, I only got so much time. Dan, are you there?
Dan. Hello.
Hey, guys.
Oh,
Hey, don't we love live radio? And not only is it live radio now, they're looking at us. But I gave a great introduction. I don't know if you heard it, but how are you doing tonight?
I did not hear the introduction, unfortunately, but that's okay. It probably was better that I didn't. But I'm doing great, Bill. I appreciate you having me on.
Well, again, we essentially said that you're the Deputy Athletic Director and a doer of good deeds, and done many for my family. So Tell us a little bit about what it's like up at West Point in the year post-COVID, although COVID is still alive. How is that affecting the football team right now?
So the good news is right now is we're really practicing and preparing as we would have in 2019, so pre-COVID, which is great. So really no impact to our schedule this summer. Our football team, knocked out their military training in late May and into June, and then was back on campus taking summer classes and getting to work out. And then we opened up camp that first week in August, and we've been at it ever since. So classes started up on Monday, and we're business as usual right now. Of course, like the rest of the world, we're worried about the Delta variant and all that, but for now we're full go, and the team looks great, practicing hard. There've been some adjustments from the NCAA on what you can and can't do in camps this year, so a little bit of adjustment there, but no, everything's going great. We're really looking forward to the start of the season. Glad we got a little more time to prepare for our first game, but right now we're on track.
Well, first of all, kudos to you and the rest of the ODIA staff in not only just salvaging last year's schedule, but really knocking it out of the park. I know Bob Beretta's moved on, and he was a key part to that. But again, kudos to you all. But coming into this season, I know last one was a challenge financially. Let us know how that's going and how you see that panning out and the timing of it.
Yep. So you're right. We just publicly launched a few weeks ago, announcing that we're going to do a major renovation to the stadium. So the east side of the stands where the Corps cadets sit, they take up about half of those. We're going to take those down and replace those with a new set of stands for the cadets, where we'll spread them out from end zone to end zone, which will be nice because it's behind the visiting team's bench. And then, so we're looking forward to getting that advantage there. There'll be end zone to end zone. And then above that, we're going to have really some premium seating areas. So some things we haven't had in Michie Stadium. So some club seating and loge seating, as well as some suites available. And then the requisite sort of club space inside as well, which will provide a nice view towards the reservoir on the backside into the field obviously on the field side. So it's going to be transformational for Michie Stadium. Obviously, that stadium's got a long history, and we want to continue to be able to play in that venue. And so just doing some things to modernize it and bring it up to today's standards in some ways. And we've had great success, a lot of early support for the project. We feel good about where we are. I think, we're at least a few seasons away from seeing that, that built and then ready for game action. But right now, all signs are really good. We've had a lot of great support from our alumni base and some friends of Army football. So, with that.
Well, Dan, that's great. I think Michie's one of the most beautiful places to watch a college football game, and that sounds like it's going to be quite an addition. Just go back real quick to the COVID piece. How is it looking this year? Are we going to be able to play in front of full stands, or is it limited? And if you know about any of the road games as well.
Yeah, so right now, we are anticipating playing in front of full venues. So obviously, the fans have to come out and they get a vote on whether they buy a ticket or what they're willing to put up with. But for us at Michie, we're selling as if we're going to fill the stands. We're certainly going to follow public health protocols in terms of trying to protect our fans, especially those who may be unvaccinated. And the same as what we're anticipating on the road. It'll be a little bit of week to week. I think it'll be week to week for everyone, just based on how the Delta variant progresses and how the vaccination continues to sort of take hold and provide the herd immunity I think that we're all hoping for. But we're expecting a full stands at Michie Stadium. So encourage anyone who's up in the area for a home game to come out and watch us, and certainly come out and support us on the road if you're in town.
Well, I will be part of that support on the road in a couple of weeks down at Georgia State. And any insight on the Georgia State game? The last time we were there, it was colder than, well, I can't say that. It was just really cold and rainy, and it was miserable.
Yeah.
And were you there at that mess?
I certainly was. It was, it was not. It wasn't. It didn't turn out our way that game either. So it was cold and rainy, and we went home with a loss, which is never fun. But you're going to be up there. I heard earlier tonight that PEO Aviation will be well represented, as General Barry is planning to be at the game as well. He's a mate of mine, a great friend, an old Army friend. We've been flying helicopters together a long time ago. So glad that you're headed up that way too. And we're hoping for a better outcome, certainly in Georgia State, and hopefully better weather as well.
Well, and General Barry also happens to be my boss these days, so maybe I'll...
That's right. Be kind to underclassmen. You may work for them one day. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's exactly right. Well, maybe he'd give you guys a training holiday on Friday so you can get an early start to Atlanta.
Well, it doesn't matter if he does or not. I won't be there, but... Hey, tell us a little bit about what you do as the Deputy Athletic Director.
Yeah, so honestly, my background, Bill, I was obviously I'm a West Point graduate. I played sports there, and then after partway through my career, ended up back on the faculty at West Point. Really ended my career there, and so when I first got brought into sort of in the senior level of the athletic department, a large part of my role really was to bridge. I won't say the gap, but to make sure that the athletic department was in sync with the rest of the academy. We 4 years ago, we split off the athletic department into a separate non-federal entity, into a nonprofit. And so we operate under an agreement with the government to run the athletic program. And so it's a large part of my job is to manage that relationship between the athletic department and the rest of the academy. I oversee capital projects. So you asked about the Mikey Stadium project. I've been working on that project as well as others. Supporting our athletic facilities for the last several years, and have been involved with the design of that Mikey Stadium project pretty hand in hand with the architecture firm. I also oversee our equipment operations. We just recently lost one of our senior members of our athletic department who oversaw all of internal operations. So imagine all of game day operations across all of our 30 sports teams, and so a little bit of everything, I think. Most importantly, I support Mike Buddy, our athletic director, in trying to achieve his vision for Army West Point athletics at West Point. So that's been a job.
Well, it sounds like you must be a pretty busy guy. I know you were when I worked with you doing programs with cadets and stuff like that. Steve, what do you got for the DAD?
Yeah, as you look at the upcoming season, we've got that top tier elite team in Wisconsin. We've got a single FCS team, which I think people are pleased with that. As you look at the other ones, what do you see from your vantage point as some of the key games of the season?
It starts obviously with game one. I think Coach Munkin, that's the way that he likes to keep our team focused. Right? We didn't play as well as we should have against Georgia State 2 years ago. We followed that up against Western Kentucky, another team that 2 years ago we lost out there to them 17-8. So we'll start with game one and try to win that one, and then we got to come home. We've got a nice home stretch there between Western Kentucky, UConn, and Miami of Ohio. So I feel good about being able to come home for a bit. But Ball State's not going to be easy on the road. Wisconsin on the road. We bring Wake Forest in. They're going to be a good team, and then and then Air Force, right? So you start back on the CIC train. And Liberty, right before we play Navy there, a couple weeks before Navy. Liberty's going to be a tough team this year. We got to go to Lynchburg to play them. And then we're going to play the Navy game in East Rutherford at MetLife Stadium there, the old, that replaced the Meadowlands. So that's sort of a tribute to the 9/11, 20 years ago. So,
can you bring in a fog machine?
Yeah, that seemed to work out pretty well last year, didn't it?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. No, look, it's going to be a challenging schedule for us, but as Coach Munkin would tell you, we're going to worry about that first one first, and then we'll move on to game 2 and then 3 and on from there.
So Dan, if I remember correctly, we are coming up with a new Commander-in-Chief's trophy.
Already have it.
So what happened there, guys, is honestly the trophy just over the years had gotten pretty beat up, and some of the figurines on there had snapped off, and it was too difficult to try to repair. So what we did is we went out, we commissioned a company to make a new one, which is now the trophy that will rotate between the service academies, whoever is the winner of that trophy. And then what we did is we sent the old one in, and we had them refurbish it as best they could, and then that's going to be in the College Hall of Fame, actually. So we're
good place.
excited about having that there. So that should be there here in just a short while. It's back getting refurbished right now to the condition in which it'll be worthy of being on display at the College Hall of Fame.
So is it an exact replica, or is it different, the new trophy?
Yeah, it's a little lighter.
So I think it's a little bit lighter, but not quite as heavy, and it looks just like the old one, except it has the Army team winning the 2020 Commander Chiefs Trophy. So that's how it's different from the year before.
Yeah. That's a good way to start it. Well, Dan, we're going to let you go in a minute, but I got to ask you a question about Georgia State. And anybody who was at the game a couple of years ago will remember this, but every time our offense came up to the line of scrimmage, they would unleash this damn train whistle that was so loud. I actually thought it was interfering with our ability to call signals. Can y'all take a couple of linemen who aren't doing anything and send them up in the press box and take a mallet to the head of the person who's pushing the button on that train whistle?
It's funny. I remember that distinctly, and it was pretty annoying. And, I've talked to the officials at the game beforehand to find out if that's still legal. Look, we're excited. We, talk about getting up under the line. We've got we got a pretty deep quarterback line this year.
Oh, yeah.
We're excited about our signal callers. We've got 6 guys who have game experience that are, 1 through 6. That's pretty amazing if you think about that, to be 6 deep in quarterbacks with game experience. A lot of leadership in that line too. Guys look good out on the field. Your guess is as good as mine who's going to start on game 1, but I know that we'll be ready for sure.
All right, Dan. Well, hey, thank you so much for taking the time out to join us. I look forward
appreciate it, Dan.
working with you throughout the year. And folks, we're going to take our second break. Smokey Mike's got us getting out of here, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes with Johnny Brooks.
Thanks again.
Thanks, Dan. Go Army.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Chad, cue the cheesy Italian music. So you're in charge of the dinner spot, and the family is a hard group to please. Dad wants award-winning 21-day age certified Angus beef. Mom craves authentic Italian food like great grandma. Sissy pretty much won't eat anything but fresh seafood. And old life of the party, Uncle Walter, likes to enjoy a cigar after dinner with some live local entertainment and some killer cocktails. So you think you're in a pickle? Well, you're not. Relax. I'm Tom Chapman, chef at Nick's Ristorante at 10300 Bailey Cove Road, just south of Weatherly. We have all that and more. Our friendly and helpful staff is eager to help you Tuesday through Saturday, starting at 5. So, corral that crazy crew of yours and give us a call at 256-489-8280 or tell them to check us out at nicksristorante.com. I promise you, the gang will all think you're a culinary cruise director of awesomeness if you take them all to Nick's. See you soon. Ciao. Okay, Chad, kill that music.
Nix is for patrons 19 or older.
Don't you wish that you had some secrets to help you get an edge on your business competition? Wouldn't it be great if someone could solve challenges at your company that you don't have the time or expertise to fix on your own? You know, there is a solution. Higher Echelon is a world-class consulting firm based in Huntsville that trains employees in sports psychology secrets to drastically improve work performance. Founder Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets and has put that experience to good use. Higher Echelon helps organizations shave hundreds of hours off work time by improving processes, and Higher Echelon helps organizations save and make more money by walking them through technology updates and implementations. You don't have to go it alone, and you don't have to stay stuck. Higher Echelon is a trusted partner in organizational excellence. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com today to take your company to the next level. Go higher and go Army.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
From the WZDX Pinpoint Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible. This is just your typical summertime fare across North Alabama and southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures hanging out in the upper 80s, some of us climbing into the lower 90s. We're only going to drop into the low and mid 70s as we head into the overnight. It does look like there's going to be a larger lack of sunshine through Thursday afternoon. Temperatures are going to be a bit lower, highs hanging out in the low and mid 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is the only place for Drew DeArmond, Wes Neighbors, and of course, Tom Abraham.
I never met him, but I hear that he's a man of character.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Bill Crawdad Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. And, I don't know if you guys can pick it up on the Facebook Live, but there's just something about live radio that always makes it so much fun. And while we were on the
fun. Yeah, that was the word I was looking for.
Right.
The fire alarm decided to go off. You may hear it in the background, but we're going to brave this thing, and until the flames tickle our feet,
then Tom's going to open up the window and we'll follow him out.
Hopefully, it's just the alarm.
Hopefully, it's just the alarm. But pay no attention to that irksome noise that's in the back of our ears. But nonetheless, we move on. And Johnny Brooks, I think you're with us there, blogger extraordinaire. Johnny, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you guys?
Oh, Johnny, we're doing great.
Doing great. Good to hear from you, Johnny.
You got the honor of being the first blogger interviewer on our first show of the second decade, because you just seem to know so damn much. So
I tell you what, you set me up. You made me follow a PhD. That I don't like.
Well, then you're just going to have to out-PhD him if there's such a word.
Well, you obviously don't know my academic record.
Hey, you don't know ours either, so we'll call it even.
Yeah,
well, Johnny, I'll tell you, the first thing I'd like to start off asking you about is something I don't think we've ever had the luxury of talking about before, and that is the fact that we have 5 quarterbacks with game experience, one of who hasn't played in 2 years and is on the Warfel watch list. Give us your insights on the quarterbacks this year.
Only a fool would take a guess as to who is going to start. I mean, we have a lot of talent at quarterback, no doubt. I don't know if you know it or not, but they moved old Bellin, whatever his name is, from slot back to quarterback. So they got 6 contenders now. Plus, there's 2 plebes that have actually shown themselves well in practice. At least they're getting pictures taken of them. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, Bryson Daly and Simeon Evans. Yeah.
Yeah, both of them are good-sized kids too, which is unusual.
Well, let me ask you this: not asking you to pick a starter, but who do you think is the best of the breed?
I honestly, reporting has been so sketchy. It's hard to say. I mean, all along I would have said Jamel Jones was going to be the starter, and he might still well be. I think he's probably got the most talent. I like Cade Ballard because I think he brings a couple of ingredients to the team. He's a winner. I mean, he's never lost, and he's got all the options there, which the other quarterbacks are missing an option here, a possibility here, or a possibility there.
Go ahead. Excuse me.
But those other guys, they're talented, and the coaching staff knows what they're looking for, and in this case, you just got to trust the coaches.
All right. Well, we have a fire alarm.
I guess we can do that.
We have a fire alarm going here.
That's a cop-out on my part, too.
And sirens aplenty. So I'll turn it over to Steve with this one comment. Never let the facts get in the way of good sports talk radio. So, Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, speaking of players, sort of that we had assessed on the off season, a lot of the fullbacks. Jacoby Buchanan and Cade Bernard were, the ones coming out of last year that were sort of at the top of the pecking order. But it seems like Anthony Atkins and Tyson Riley got a lot of notoriety during the preseason. What's your take on the fullback position?
Well, I think you got that call right. I think what I hear is Atkins has lost some weight, and as a result of losing some weight, he's much more maneuverable now, and he's got a lot more speed. Tyson Riley was going to be a horse. He just needed some experience. So he's going to really develop quickly. They moved Cateau to fullback also, so they're 5 deep at fullback. And it's a very talented position. Both quarterback and fullback are loaded. And so is slot back when you get down to it. And so is tight end when you get down to it. And so is wide receiver when you get down to it.
Well, so Johnny, let's talk about the offensive line, because when you go back, really how the offensive line goes, so goes the Army team. What's your assessment on our level of skill and our depth in the offensive line?
Well, that's a good question. There are a lot of guys who started at least one game there, and several have started more than one. I mean, we've got 10 players that have started a game. I just don't know how good they are across the board as far as being equal. I mean, they have to be interchangeable. That's the history of Army offensive line. They've got to be interchangeable. They got to be able to play several positions. I think we're going to see the two yearlings, Finucane and Lott start at tackle, and then you're going to have Knapp and Kolinchek probably at guard or something like that, and then Connor Bishop at center, and there's some depth there too, but there's not a whole bunch of experience, but there's experience. So if I got to say I'm concerned about one position on the Army team this year, it's the offensive line. But then you guys have talked to me before, and every year I tell you I worry about the offensive line. The offensive line on the Army team is the engine that makes the whole place work, because they are the ones who drive the machine that keeps Army on the field, keeps the defense off the field, and keeps the offensive the opposition offense off the field. The key is the Army offensive line. It really is, in my opinion.
Well, it is, and it always has been. But I do, by the way, for our listeners out there, we're not going to burn down. The fire alarm went off.
The all clear has been given.
The all clear has been given. But, Johnny, one thing I wanted to mention to you, it's kind of unusual that our 2021 team captains, Nolan Cockrell, Cedric Cunningham, Eric Smith, and Markel Broughton, not an offensive captain there. What is your read on that? Just kind of unusual.
Well, it is, but I think it's looking at last year's statistics and the record last year, which the defense kind of carried the team last year.
Yeah,
and I think it's a bit of a reward there, and they deserve it. They really do. I don't know those four guys, but my instincts tell me they're good leaders, and that's what's needed.
Well, they were four of the best players on the team last year.
Yeah, and I would agree with you, Johnny. I think that was more of a because some people are taking it as a slight against the offense. I think it's more of a testimony. Couple stats, coming out of last year, the defense was ranked, number one in the country. So a great bunch of leaders, all of them firsties except for Marquell, who's a cow. And so I think that's a great bunch. And I think it sets the bar high. It gives the rest of the team something to aspire to. But, taking a look at the defense, we got to replace Radigan and some other folks. How do you feel about that side of the ball?
I think they're replacing. We had to place Radigan and West and somebody else in the defensive line. I think what we're going to see is probably the strongest defensive line we've had at one time. But there's not a lot of depth in the three guys. Bonsu. By the way, Bonsu wasn't on the initial roster this year. Did you guys notice that?
Yes, I did.
But he is now. Whatever the hiccup was, is gone, and he's now back on the roster and he's practicing again. So between Bonsu, Duran, and Cockrell, I mean, that's a good defensive line. We lost some kids that I wish we could have around. They decided there wasn't a place for them, and they took off. I think there's about 3 of them. But at linebacker, there's potential there to be as strong a linebacker core as probably the Army has had in years, if maybe ever.
Yeah,
I mean,
looking
really,
at the D line again, because at nose guard we lost the both guys in the 2 deep, Nick Stokes and Jack Hoff. So do you see Bonsu stepping into that role?
No, I think Bonsu's going to play defensive end, isn't he? I mean, that's where
that's what we think.
Spent most time at last year, and I think Duran's going to play the other defensive end.
So Cockrell's going to shift over to nose guard. Okay.
Is he?
Well, hey,
well, I don't know why, but they moved this kid Hill 2-time, I guess he was Mr. Tennessee at linebacker from a Memphis school. They moved him from linebacker to defensive end. He's a little slight. He's only about 235, but I'm told he's incredibly talented. So
excellent.
We'll see how that works out.
One thing, just by the way, a little note to those who may not have any idea about academy jargon. Sometimes we slip into it, and you probably don't know what the heck we're talking about. Steve just mentioned firsties and cows. Firsties at West Point are seniors, and cows are juniors. So
yearlings
and yearlings are sophomores, or yucks are sophomores. So
only yearlings. Yucks is a new core phrase, and they need to get away from that.
Well, Tom, since you jumped in, go ahead and cast some pearls of wisdom on us here.
Well, no, I just to pull this thread that Steve started on defense. So from the defensive secondary, so the linebackers I think are solid, and I mean we've had a good run, and we've always been able to reload there. But from a defensive back standpoint, how do you think we stack up, both defensive back and safeties?
Well, I think at safety we got 4 Letterman returning. I think, although no list was ever produced on Letterman last year, but I think we got 4 Letterman returning, and I think we got. Between Moore, Isaiah Morris, and Jones, and the other kid, whose name escapes me right now, I think we were 4 deep at cornerback. I think this defense is pretty set unless we get unlucky.
All right,
I think there's a lot of talent there and a lot of depth.
Well, Johnny, let me ask you one more question, and then we'll let you go. This has nothing to do with the players, but it has to do with Coach Monken. There was a lot of hubbub and hullabaloo and a lot of speculation this year that Coach Monken, deservedly so, many teams were interested in him, particularly Kansas. Thankfully, he decided to stay put. What do you think about the future of Coach Monken? Do you think he's going to be a statue up there one day, or do you think somebody's going to come pluck him away?
Oh, I'll be glad to go help dedicate the statue.
I'm with you.
I think every year, as long as he continues to be successful, there will be a couple of weeks of high stress on Army fans. And I'm just hoping that we can't find a school somewhere that will take an option coach. I want to keep him. We should all want to keep him because he's a good guy for this program. He's the right guy.
Yeah, and one of the questions, and we've had quite a bit of discussion about that, is about whether or not he should be looking. And I certainly think that you always have to be able to evaluate your options, and it's good that he's wanted by other people. But do you find any issue with him interviewing during the off season?
No, you know what? I've gone back and forth on this issue. You can only make so much money, or you can only spend so much money. So if money is the issue, okay, that's an issue. Or do you want to just be happy and have good kids, good players, and a good program, and make a mark over your lifetime? It depends on how he looks at it. If he looks at making a mark over his lifetime is coaching a FCS team to the top 10, then he might want to move on. I certainly hope he doesn't. and I kind of trust Coach Jeff Monken that he really likes that place. He's happy living across the Lust Reservoir from Mikey Stadium, walking to work every day, and that he'll stay. But I think each year, as long as he's successful, it's going to be a challenge for Army fans to sit and watch while the machinations occur and everybody crunches their teeth.
Well, you know, one thing a lot of people said, and then we'll let you out of here, no comment required, is I read a bunch about that. And one of the things, Coach, I think a mistake is people say, well, he's an option coach. No, he's not.
He's a leader.
He's a leader, and he's a football coach. And
That's exactly right.
He can put any kind of damn offense he wants to, and it'll be successful. So,
hence the argument for Cade Ballard.
Hence the argument. All right, well, hey, Johnny.
He's a leader.
We're going to go ahead and let you go, Smoky Mike. Now that we're not going to burn.
All right, we're gone.
Oh.
Take care.
Take care.
Johnny.
And there goes
Bye-bye.
Johnny. And we're not going to burn down, and we've got about 15 more minutes to go, and we'll be back in just a bit. This is Crawdad. We're out.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Welcome back, everybody, for the final segment of Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. Just want to remind everybody, especially veterans, if you need a mortgage, go to NorthAlabamaMortgage.com, owned by Brian Hammaker, a great man. And if you need a steak and something good to go with it, even something good to drink, go down to Nick's Restaurante at 10300 Bailey Cove. As I say, it's a driver and a pitching wedge south of the intersection of Bailey Cove and Weatherly. About screwed that up. All right, we got a few more minutes to go. No pressure.
Not like you've screwed up anything else.
No, I'm screwing up all night tonight.
That's his MO, his little modus operandi.
So, Steve, who's the player you're looking forward to most see this year?
Well, I'll put it this way. I mean, oftentimes they're called sleepers, breakout players. We've talked about a lot of the top tier, well-known names out there, but the one I'm looking at is Spencer Jones. I think he's going to be the next John Radigan. Spencer came out of high school as a 3-star athlete, and at our recruiting level, that's about our ceiling. But even as a freshman, he caught a lot of attention, both in practice and some of the game time he got. And again, he didn't get a whole lot of game time because he was playing behind Radigan. But he's now a sophomore, a yearling. And I think he's gonna turn a lot of heads. And the great thing is he'll be in that role for 3 years, and that bodes well for Army football.
And Tom, what say you there?
Yeah, so Johnny said you got to be crazy to pick a starter at quarterback, but I am going to go with Cade Ballard because I agree with Johnny. I think he brings that leadership that I think we've been missing some consistency, and I think as Steve said earlier before we went on the air, he sees the field better. I think he brings a full tool set. From my standpoint, I think Cade Ballard's going to have a breakout year.
Well, I hope you're right. And I've got a couple, briefly. Got to pick Jabari Moore. You may remember he was the defensive back against Cincinnati who intercepted the pitch and ran it back for a touchdown, and we gave Cincinnati a fit that year. And Jabari is also from Hoover, Alabama, where I used to live. But the one I'm really excited to see this year is quarterback Jabari Laws. He went out in the Air Force game, hurt his knee. He threw for 219 yards. He's been out with that knee injury for 2 years. He's quick as a cat, and he can run that option, I think, probably better than any one of them. And just this past week, I think he threw a 80-yard touchdown pass in practice, and he's on the watch list.
Because of blown coverage.
I don't care.
So
what?
Yeah, I think from a speed.
If you're a defensive back, that's what you say.
Yeah,
Coach,
I think from a speed and quickness, I think you're spot on. And I think Cade probably doesn't have that that speed and quickness. But again, he sees the field, he sees the gaps. I think from a pitching standpoint, I think I'm hoping we'll see both of those guys there.
Well, I think both of those guys will turn us into. From the double option team we were last year to the triple option team we need to be. So, Steve, the human Ouija board, what is the most important game on the schedule this year to you?
I think the most important game is game number 1. And I don't say that to echo what Dan McCarthy and Coach Monken say.
We put on our britches one leg at a time.
Right? I think that will set the tone for the season. But what really concerns me, if you look at the last 10 openers that Army has had, 6 have been at home, 4 have been on the road. On the home ones, we went 5-1. The road games, we went 1-3. We don't start well the season on the road.
We don't start well that season on the road.
And right now, the Panthers are picked by 3 points. That's sort of the home field advantage. So the Vegas is saying they're evenly matched. And I'm concerned. And I think we win that game, we've got a chance to go 9-3, 10-2. We lose that, we could easily go 7-5, 8-4.
What about you, Colonel Tom?
Well, so when Johnny signed off, it sounded like he had something to say, so I sent him a text and asked him if he had anything, and he sent back that he just wanted to say that he had an opportunity to be in the football auditorium during the off season, and they had the schedule listed, and the opponent for every game was listed as Army. So we are just playing from Monken's standpoint.
Oh, yeah.
And his Johnny's point is
that's good perspective.
Monken's a genius.
Yeah.
So for me, I think it's it's really easy to say that Wisconsin is a big game, but I'm going to say Ball State. I think they're a great team. They're at the end of this. We've coming off a 3-game homestand, and it's really, I think, our first time to really play a powerful team. I think Ball State's
finished last season number 23 in both the coaches and the AP.
Yeah.
Solid team, finished at 7-1. And one of the things, if I could dovetail off of that, it's one of 3 that I'm really concerned about. The best, set aside the sister academy games. The 3 toughest games are Ball State, Wisconsin, and Liberty, and we play all those on the road. That is a tough road stretch.
And that's a good dovetail. But
like me some dovetail.
I'll tell you, you remember they can see us now, Tom. My game is Wisconsin, and I'll tell you why. A couple of years ago, it seems like we pushed all the chips in for the Michigan game. We had to win that game. We almost did. We came out of that like beaten to death, and for the rest of the year, it haunted us. And I think Coach Monken's learned something from that it's just another game. Even though it's a big, huge, massive opponent, the Badgers, been around forever. If we don't need to sacrifice the team to win that game, and I don't think we will this year. So that, having said,
I don't think we do. I think you go back and you can start with Ohio State, and then the Michigan, and then Oklahoma and Michigan. I think if you ask any Army football player, we belong on a field with them. We are no longer outclassed by them. I think. I don't think we used to go into the games going, God, I hope we don't get hurt.
What, Nebraska 70-7,
Yeah.
a long time? Yeah.
No, I mean, I think that we're going to go into Wisconsin and Ball State and Liberty expecting to win.
And I think Wisconsin's vulnerable. You look at last season; they had a stretch there where they lost 3 games in a row: Northwestern, Indiana, and Iowa. Now, granted, all 3 of those teams were ranked last year, solid teams, and now they rebounded in overtime against Minnesota and pretty much mowed over Wake Forest. But I think there's a big question mark next to how they're doing.
We're due. I mean, you look at how the 1 games that we play against every year against these top 25 teams. Yeah. I mean, we've played them tough, and we've Michigan. We just foot.
Oklahoma. But this may be Munkins, Georgia Southern playing Florida in the swamp and beating them without throwing a pass.
Yep.
Who knows? This may be that game.
And I think we're due.
I think we're due. I hope we are. I just hope we don't get all banged up in that. But folks, we're going to have to get out of here in a minute. I just want to gauge the interest. If you're listening to us on Facebook or looking at us, hello, Ma. We're going to maybe come up with some. We have some T-shirts. Take a look at them on the Facebook page. If you're interested in one, let us know on Facebook, and we'll try to put something together. And I will close as I always do. Remember this, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, there's a soldier right now in this country that's in harm's way, and they're standing and watch so you can live the life you live. Go Army.
Beat Dave.
We'll be back here, same bat time, same bat channel next